The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't
The
care.
BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the Sports Guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The BS Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the BS Report, a dark and suddenly gloomy Monday morning here in Los Angeles. Looks like it might rain today. I know you guys care out there. We are here with Joe House.
Yeah, and I don't have anything to do with the weather.
You brought bad weather to Los Angeles, and I resent you for it.
That's fine.
We're going to call Cousin Sal in a little bit to talk about Week 7 of the NFL season, as long as guess the Week 8 lines. And then we might call Jack O, because apparently he roots for a baseball team that got swept in the playoffs. Were you aware of this?
It's funny as a person that doesn't care about the Yankees or the Red Sox. In fact, I grew up hating both of those franchises.
Yeah, don't blame me.
To see the two of you go at it a little bit. And it's at this stage, honestly, a little bit of a toss-up of which franchise is in worse position.
Yeah, I would say they're probably in a little bit better position just because they have Cano.
They have CC.
CC.
Yeah. But wasn't CC going to see a doctor? Didn't I see Dr. Andrews and CC in the same sentence? Or did I misread it?
I think it was a chef. It was a doctor or a chef. It was one of the two. Yeah, that'd be an interesting breakdown of who's more screwed. I guess the Yankees just have more money to spend.
Why is that?
And ultimately, they don't
What
care.
happened to the Red Sox, checkbook? Did it lose $100 million all of a sudden?
Yes.
When?
The Red Sox don't like spending money anymore. And this has
As of
been the
when?
case with the soccer team too.
In the
We
last
just
12
traded
months?
$260 million worth of salaries.
Well, that makes sense because you're tanking for some reason.
Yeah, because they want to cut costs.
Cut costs?
Yeah, I think so.
The stadium still filled,
They did the same thing with their soccer
$44,000 at the
team.
Fenway. Well, the
Well,
soccer team's different.
I think they're preparing to sell the team, and I've said this multiple times,
Whoa.
and I'm going to say it again. I
They've
think they want to sell
categorically
the Red
denied
Sox.
that. They've categorically denied that.
What are
they're
they going to
interested in
do?
selling.
Say it's true?
I don't know.
Let's talk about the Prince of Chocolate City,
Yeah, let's do that.
Robert Griffin III.
He's the prince.
We watched some.
He might be better than the prince. He might be the king.
You made the salient point yesterday during that Redskins-Giants game, whether they won or lost the game. The Redskins are driving down, and you said it doesn't even matter. The Giants fans are scared right now, and we haven't had a guy like this in Washington in some time. That put the fear of God into the other team's fans. This is the first time in a long time you've had that.
Honestly, I'm not lying right now. I get shivers hearing you say it.
Mm.
And yesterday afternoon, we were sitting there watching that game together. When I made that point, I had shivers thinking about it. It's exciting.
Who was the
Holy
last
cow,
guy?
Is it exciting? What, on a football field?
Just anywhere.
Wow. Well, Ovechkin had a
Ovechkin's
stretch,
like that.
you
I
know.
would say Ovechkin against the Bruins, I was pretty scared every time he was anywhere doing anything.
And honestly, every time Strasburg pitches, there's an electricity about it. It's
Yeah.
not really a fear factor, but there's a heightened everybody. That game last year out here against the Dodgers, where Strasburg pitched and Bryce Harper made his debut.
Yeah.
That was an awesome moment. I mean, that was live.
But he's not at that Verlander level where you're like, I don't think Strasburg has hit the point yet where it's 3-1 and you go to the opposing fan stadium.
No.
And the other fans are terrified because Strasburg has come in. Like
No.
Verlander has hit that vaunted level of.
For sure. No, RG3 though. Whoa.
Yeah.
That was such a cool moment.
Yeah, the 4th and 10 was great.
Awesome.
It really
Just
does
awesome.
seem like he has an ability which you some people just have it, most people don't, of being able to rise to the occasion in big moments.
I don't want to get ahead of it. I don't want to put any kind of a blemish whatsoever on the moment. The one thing I do wonder out longer term, looking forward to next season and the rest, is there a little bit of a shine that's attributable to his first time through the league? Like we saw this morning, the Giants saying we saw him on paper, we saw him on film, we had no idea how good he was.
And how fast he was.
Yeah. So as he plays each of these teams, these 16 games, and then we're looking into next year, what's the expectation level? What's appropriate? It remains to be seen. And I'm not trying to detract at all from the trajectory. It's just awesome to have a guy like that and hitch your wagon to him at this point.
You actually were flying yesterday, so you only saw the last quarter and half of the game. I watched the entire game, and the Redskins really left that one on the table. They shot themselves in the foot, bad fumbles. I thought they dominated the game.
All in the second half. All those turnovers were critical turnovers in the second half.
Critical turnovers, and then just a terrible leaving Victor Cruz open.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's this team.
Not good.
It's not a super talented team.
No.
They were decimated by injury on the defensive side. The defense was supposed to be the front seven was supposed to be the thing that you could everybody. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing is that they've really mitigated how terrible the offensive line is. The offensive line has not been, the thing that's been a depressing or limiting factor on their ability to be successful.
Right. You're not a playoff team, probably.
Yeah, I don't.
But
think
we
so.
don't know for sure.
Yeah, I mean 8-8 or 9-7 are still viable options for the team.
Because the NFC is so good that 10 wins, there might be some sort of 4 or 5 way tie at 10-6 for the 6th wildcard spot. Who knows?
Yes.
The NFC is better than the AFC.
The thing that's for sure is that the Redskins, they're not going to get outclassed by anybody. They gave it to Atlanta.
You haven't gotten beaten yet, badly, have you?
No, they gave it to Atlanta. They gave it to the Giants. I mean, I not gave it. What I'm saying is they took it to them.
Would you rather have
they didn't
Luck
give
or
things
Griffin?
away. Griffin.
Are you saying that because you're a homer?
Let me say it
or
another 50 times. Griffin.
Just because he's more fun.
He's exciting as hell. What are you talking about?
Who would give you a better chance to win the Super Bowl?
Win. Eventually?
Eventually.
I don't know. It's impossible to say.
My fear with Griffin is just, and I know people have talked about this, but just that hit he took and just how little he is,
He's not that little, but he definitely, with all that running around, puts himself in harm's way. He's bigger than Vic.
He's not big, though.
He's not big. I agree.
Like Roethlisberger.
He's not like
that
Cam.
could just
He's not
take
like Cam
hits.
Newton.
We're right. Yeah, Roethlisberger and Cam. We were listening to Cowher today talking about how stupid it is that Cam and Griffin get compared all the time, and it's really just because they're both black. There's no stylistic.
No. It's not just because they're black. They both have a running ability to go along with their tremendous throwing ability.
So does Christian Ponder. So does a lot of people.
So I mean that's not inappropriate.
Well, I think Cam, the doppelganger for Cam, is Roethlisberger.
That could be the other thing.
I think those are the two guys.
The other reason it makes
similar.
sense to compare those two guys is because Cam had a kind of similar effect on the league last year. Came out of nowhere, was a rookie, immediately captivated folks' imagination with a skill set folks hadn't seen before.
The only thing is, if you go back now, you could easily pick it apart. Like he was doing well against bad teams.
Who, Cam?
All of Cam's wins have come against either bad teams or a team at the perfect point of the whatever. But Griffin's
well, they only won. Did they win 6 games last year?
They won 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But Griffin.
Yeah,
you've done this against the Giants. Who was the other team that was
Atlanta?
Really good?
We were right there with Atlanta.
Yeah.
No, the other thing we compared notes on a little bit yesterday. The Redskins have not been out of any game. They've been in every game. There's been important drives in the fourth quarter of every game so far this season, which is just terrific.
And then the other thing, you got nothing from Garcon, and I know this because he's on my West Coast fantasy team that's in the crapper. But he caught an 80-yard pass. And I think he got hurt as he was ready for a touchdown. It was right around then.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not that toe injury occurred on that touchdown, but yeah,
it went from being. I went from thinking, wow, I struck oil with Pierre Garcon.
Yes.
To thinking, is Pierre every week he's got the red flag. he should change his name so that it's Garcon with a red flag from the fantasy website on it, because that's who he is. He's a red flag fantasy guy.
So far, we're not even halfway to the season.
It actually would be a really interesting team if he was on. If you had him and Santana Moss and Hankerson, who's not terrible.
No, it's true.
Fred Davis went out. You didn't think that was a big deal.
Well, he has been inconsistent this year. He had some serious cases of the drop season a couple games. It was pretty depressing. But the guy that filled in Paulson, he caught that 4th and 10 pass.
Yeah.
And it was a great catch because the throw was under duress. It was a great catch.
This is already way too much Redskins talk.
Yeah!
We're going to call Cousin Sal and guess the Week 8 lines.
Good
you can
times.
play if you want.
I'll play.
All right.
I mean, Sal and I are neck and neck at the top of our...
Your picks league.
Yeah, the league where we pick every game against the spread.
Hello?
Hey.
Yo, what's happening?
We're taping. We're on. We just went right to it.
What?
Yeah, we're on. House
like
is
that?
here. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
cuz.
We're on.
I don't believe it.
We were just talking about the Redskins and Robert Griffin, who is delighted House like nobody even. I don't even think House's son has delighted.
My
House.
son has delighted me a little bit more than Black Jesus, but
just
a
barely.
little.
Just barely.
Yeah.
Are you buying Robert Griffin stock, Sal?
I love it. I like watching them. Yeah, you can only like watching someone who's in your division of your favorite team so much, and I've definitely reached that limit right there.
Yeah, so even though he's a division rival, you're still enjoying it, which is really new territory for you.
Yeah. I also I drafted him 10th in my keeper league, which means I get him for a 5th rounder next year if he doesn't blow his ACL out, and I have to drop him between now and then.
Don't say things like that, please.
Yeah, that's not fair.
I won't say it.
Don't say that. Your Cowboys kind of just lingering, barely squeezed by a terrible Carolina team yesterday. Really, they tried to give it away, and Carolina just wouldn't take it. Are you now resigning yourself to no playoffs this year?
Oh yeah. I think that's a good bet at this point. I just we were actually out cowboyed by the Panthers yesterday.
Right.
And I wrote in the run and shoot in Grantland's run and shoot today, like Jason Garrett is like you ever see House, the show House?
Yes.
Where the Dr. House, like he calls an audible, and even though like he's been right every episode before, every one of his cohorts are like, oh no, you're crazy, but he always ends up being right in the end, and it saves lives or saves a life or something. Jason Garrett is exactly the opposite of that. He's the outhouse. He calls an audible, and you could, like clockwork, you could wait for it, and it's going to happen. And down a point, I think, with 3.5 left, 3rd and 9. You need 6 points there at the 15-yard line. What do? You hand off to your third-string running back.
You didn't like that play?
I didn't like it. I looked at all the plays I had drawn up for that situation, and that was 750,000th on the list.
Maybe that was a play of I just can't let Romo kill me again.
I was worried that maybe that was it. And
that might have been it.
By the way, the week before, the time when they didn't call a timeout, or they should have called a timeout, I think that was the play they had set up. So we would have seen that either last week or this week. But, yeah, we won in spite of ourselves yesterday.
I think the biggest thing we learned yesterday, and I actually thought Baltimore, I thought that was a nobody believes in us game for them. And, everyone was writing them off because Webb and Lewis were out and they were going to get pissed off and rally. And they got annihilated.
Yeah.
They got killed. And now I don't know what happens in that division. But you could talk me into, House and I were talking last night, could 8-8 or 9-7 win that division? It's in play now, I feel like.
I think so, too. I think, can they add a team? Is it too late to add a team to that?
The Redskins. There you go. So you should have a petition.
To that division? Yeah, that would be good.
We're right there. That's true. That would ruin some of our rivalries, though. We have to have the Cowboys and the Giants twice a year. And the Eagles.
Who do you think wins that division, House? You thought Pittsburgh, right?
I still think Pittsburgh. Yeah.
God, but we haven't seen Pittsburgh play a good game yet. Yesterday, I think, was probably the closest, but that Cincinnati team is not good, and they barely got by Cincinnati.
You're just not used to seeing soft play in the AFC North, and that's what we're seeing.
True.
Yeah.
Like Cincinnati, if they weren't so soft, I think they would steal that division.
I wonder with Baltimore against Houston, maybe Houston was the nobody believes in us team yesterday, though. Because they took a beating from Green Bay the previous week. So maybe they were the guys that showed up with a chip on their shoulder. And Baltimore's still sorting out its injuries. The problem with Baltimore is begins and ends at quarterback. It's been that way for a number of years now.
He was really, really especially terrible yesterday.
Yeah, he's not good.
Here's an idea. Don't throw the ball over J.J. Watt's head.
Oh.
Can we all just throw over J.J. Watt's head now?
You have a nice play, a screen play that works against everyone, a side screen that, you don't have to throw over the middle at all. And they utilize Ray Rice was, like 10% of the plays? Terrible play call.
I felt that was my only super contest loss yesterday, the Ravens. And I actually thought they came out, big opening drive, got a field goal, and then took a safety. And right around when they took that safety, I think it was a little before that, their right tackle went down. Like the whole pile fell on the right tackle's ankle. They carried him off. He was doing the thumbs up and doing the fit, like he's clearly out for the year. And it just seemed like that was the point of no return for them. Like you can only have so many injuries as a football team when you lose key guys, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And that O-line, Ravens and Steelers are having a problem. We had a discrepancy in our my blog and your column this week. Like you said, we didn't take the Browns, and I'm telling you, we did take the Browns and Bengals to win the division. I put it in for you. I emailed you. I said, we're betting this.
I know. I forgot.
You didn't email me back, so that counts.
I know. I forgot. I forgot we were in.
Order, whatever I need to do.
I had a busy week. I forgot that we actually did it. I still think we have a chance with both of those.
I do too.
Actually, you know what? The Browns, that Pat Shurmur, Barnwell broke it down today in his column, but it was 4th and 1. They're on Indianapolis' 40. They're down 4. And there must have been like 6 minutes left, and they freaking punt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're a 1-5 team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at that point, you're looking for any sign of momentum, anything to switch your season around and say, look at this, we went for it, we got it, here we come, guys, and you punt. It's just terrible. Why did every percentage that has ever been released in the last 10 years say once you're over midfield, you should probably go for it, unless the events of the game are just telling you that you're not going to get it, right?
Yeah.
Like we saw it again.
Makes the new owner happy, but shelled out $600 million.
They kept showing him too. He's getting madder and madder.
That touchdown drop was awesome.
Yeah,
the replays.
Yeah. Well, the Buffalo did it too, where they did it where they kicked for a field goal in a game where everybody was scoring a touchdown every time they had the ball, and then they on 4th and 1 settled for a field goal. Which it is weird to me that these coaches, I almost feel like there's so much going on in the game that the clutter makes them lose sight of just these basic, obvious decisions.
Well, you know who's been masterful at this so far this year?
Who?
Mike Shanahan.
Yeah.
Great 4th down percentage.
He was great yesterday.
He was great yesterday.
They controlled that game with an inferior team. Hey, Sal.
Yeah.
Do I panic scale 1 through 10 on the Patriots? Where am I right now?
I don't like that they've been outscored 34-6 in the fourth quarter of the last 3 games. I mean,
you don't like that stat?
Very I was trying to think of which of our teams got luckier yesterday. I think still mine, because we had some bad calls we had to rely on from the replacement refs. But Stephen Hill drops that pass for the Jets, and it was a dropped interception. And I just think, also, I think they were down 16-10, the Jets. Is it early 4th or late 3rd? And 4th and 1 from the 4. And it goes back to,
field goal.
Everything we always talk about, all right, the team should do exactly the opposite of what the other team's fans don't want you to do. So as a Pats fan, you were happy that the Jets kicked the field goal on 1 from the 4, yeah?
I think the Jets really got screwed up yesterday by how banged up their running backs were.
Yeah.
And they played better. They should have won the game. They should have been leading comfortably throughout the game with the way the Patriots were playing. And their running backs were just too injured. They had McKnight was on one leg, and Sean Green got his bell rung. He was never the same. They had no third guy. And I thought that kind of dictated some of their decisions. But, I mean, as a Pats fan, the thing that frightened me the most about that game was just not fully believing that Brady could bring them down for the game tire.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I guess you could say last year against Dallas was a similar situation. I felt like we were going to score in that situation.
Yeah,
this time around, I was like, oh, God, what's going to happen?
It could look so easy sometimes, and then you accuse them of taking their foot off the gas. It's like, well, they're not going to do that 2 games in a row, but maybe these guys just aren't open. Maybe the personnel doesn't match up now.
Well, Gronkowski's always open. We just don't ever throw to him. And anytime we need to get first downs, they start throwing to Gronkowski, and all of a sudden he's moving 3 guys at once.
Yeah. That is the weird thing. That the drive to tie the game and the drive that won the game. But Gronkowski and Hernandez, it doesn't look like anybody can cover either one of them.
We should start throwing to these 2 guys who are open every play?
Yeah.
Sal, you, as a Cowboys fan, there's about a 4-year window there after the 3 Super Bowls. Was it 3 or 4? How many did you win? You won 3.
Yeah, 3 right there in the 90s. Yeah.
Switzer was the last one. Then there was a 3-year window there where everybody thought the Cowboys were, one of the favorites year after year, but you weren't.
Right.
And then everything culminated with losing a playoff game to Jake Plummer, and then that was it.
Yeah, I blocked that out, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
Do you feel like looking back, you were in denial for those 3 years that your team was better than you were? Because I feel like this is year 1 of the denial era for me, where I'm thinking the Patriots are a contender and they're just not.
Well, here's one thing I figure with Patriots and Cowboys and a few other teams, it seems like every team is gunning for you every week. Yeah,
that's true.
You don't get that with these, with the Colts or the Broncos or anything. It seems like, the teams aren't as excited about blowing you out at home or whatever. So, yeah, I think. But on the other hand, you're one of 3 elite teams in the AFC to be over 500. So what are you worried about?
That is the thing. The AFC plays. My fear is that the AFC is so bad, the Pats might rope all of us in.
Yeah.
They might be like a 2 or 3 seed, and I mean, this isn't a 2 or 3
don't
seed.
you have an inordinate number of young guys
We do.
in critical
and
positions?
That's the counter. The counter take right now is that we're the youngest team in the league, and Hernandez has been hurt. The whole offense was built around Hernandez, and there's reasons to think this team will get better as the year goes along.
I heard that you're not getting any younger. I read that somewhere. I don't know if that's true. You're one of the few teams that's not getting any younger. Well, let's talk about the AFC for a second, because people are all over how mediocre it is, but I'm sort of excited for it. Like, okay, let's just talk in terms of wild card. Miami, Pittsburgh, Jets, Cincinnati, Indy, San Diego, Tennessee. I think they're all on the hunt.
Tennessee?
I would like to see Indy get that 6th spot. If they get a 6, they could go to Denver. Luck against Manning. What a great wild card weekend that would be, right?
That's a good one. I'm rooting for Indianapolis just because I picked them to make the playoffs, and I'm never right about anything.
They have KC, they have Tennessee twice, they have Miami at home, Buffalo at home, Jacksonville. I mean, they could be 8-7, home versus Houston in a meaningless game for the Texans. They could get this 9-7 and get the 6th seed.
Denver seems like the big winner right now, because the Pats are seems like the Pats are just worse than people thought. Baltimore is so banged up. Pittsburgh just doesn't seem right. Denver could go on a real. If you look at their schedule, Denver could like rip off a run right now.
The only thing, quick side note on Pittsburgh, when's Palomalu back?
Well, that's the thing. It's like these guys who are injured. It's like we were talking about. House and I were walking over to talk about the Warriors, and they're playing the Clippers tonight, and we're going, and Bogut and Curry are both not playing because they're hurt. And it's like at some point, this is the situation. Like you can't rely. And Palomalu just seems like he can't stay in the field anymore.
Yeah, you're right. Terrell Davis isn't coming back for the Broncos. Yeah,
so do we believe in Houston, though? Was last week just an aberration? Rodgers gets hot and rips them apart, and the NFC is better than the AFC, but that doesn't mean Houston's not the best AFC team.
Well, I still maintain that the Giants and Packers are the two teams that I wouldn't want my team playing. Like I don't know.
I think I agree with you.
Where that shakes out. But so the Packers, and once Rodgers gets going, he can make anyone look bad. But the Texans are a physical team. Like they run it like right down your throat. Nothing. It's all off tackle. All batting balls down at the line of scrimmage. You know what you're getting with them. And when they want to out-physical you, they're as good as anyone.
And the San Francisco-Seattle game, it was a Thursday night. It was so tough to take too much away from it because I thought both teams were just banged up.
Mm-hmm.
But the way those teams played defensively, I think they have to be in the discussion. I think both of them. I think those teams are pretty even. I do.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think Seattle is right there with San Francisco. I think they have the same strengths and weaknesses.
They might be. They might be a poor man's version.
And they probably have a better. I mean, they have a better home field advantage, Seattle. Mm-hmm. But I think San Francisco has slightly more talent.
Well, that's what the thing. Like, all right, you say like Seattle goes on the road at Detroit, and we'll get to it. I like Seattle way more in the elements than I do anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Don't trust them anywhere else.
Let's go to Week 8.
Let's do it. I am 5-2-1 against you.
Yeah,
Whoa.
this
big,
not been a great pick here for me.
It's really the year of the Sal. Sal, how many Germajesties are you up this year?
Germajesties, oh yeah.
Germajesties.
Hundreds of thousands.
It has to be, right? It's the year of the Sal.
It's the year of his cousin. It's the year of cousin Jimmy, and Sal is like just riding the fumes for picks and everything.
About 5 more weeks before it all comes tumbling down.
Yeah.
We have Baltimore, Buffalo, Cincy, and Houston on a bye this week.
Yeah, and I would say out of those 4 teams, Baltimore could not have used the bye anymore.
It's true.
That gives them an extra 2 weeks for Suggs. Flacco, unfortunately, has to read a whole week about, and he's in a contract year.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
And I think I was buying all the Flacco hype before I even spent $4 for him in my West Coast Fantasy League. It just might not be happening for him.
Well, the thing with Baltimore, I think, you look back, those 4 games in 17 days.
They've never been the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really paid the price for that.
They really did.
That was a scheduling mess. It was. Let me just, before we go into this, someone hand me a note. Teams prior to their bye week, 1-13 versus the spread.
Ooh.
So it's like if you're going on vacation and the last day you kind of like cruise, I think that's what it is. And the Jets, St. Louis, San Fran, and New England are on a bye next week. So
that's a weird stat.
That is strange. All right, Tampa Bay at Minnesota Thursday.
Thursday nighter. Tampa Bay should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
They should really. They're up 14-0. The Vincent Jackson gets caught from behind on a touchdown when the guy's basically was in the locker room when he started running.
It is odd, and we talk about guys that look like they're fixing games. Like we thought, like Roethlisberger.
Yeah, it's a running joke. Yeah,
nothing looks more like a fix than a guy when he gets chased down from 50 yards behind, but. He really is that much slower.
He said afterwards, "Yeah, I'm not 100% physically." It's like, all right, I would push that theory because you got caught from behind by somebody who's 40 yards behind you.
Malcolm Jenkins, 216 yards receiving, and he's going to be the GOAT of the week.
I continue to think the Saints are terrible. Tampa. It was a travesty, that game. Tampa was so poorly coached in that game and shot itself in the foot. And Breeze is good enough against bad teams that he's always going to make you pay. You don't believe in the Saints, do you, Huss?
No, I don't believe in the Saints at all. I just can't understand what's wrong with Tampa. I don't know what their problem is. Why is their defense so bad?
I feel like they've switched coaches too many times. It's like their third coach in 4 years, isn't
Half
it?
the players don't know who their coach is.
Yeah,
I
seriously.
think I agree with that. But let me ask you this. Why are you allowed to shove someone out of the end zone, like a D-back?
I asked this.
Yeah, we don't like
it's
that.
It's not a penalty?
Can you not touch a guy after 5 yards?
That's what I thought. I didn't understand it.
It felt like there were a lot of out-of-bounds situations.
Yeah, everything close.
I don't like it. I feel like if you're out of bounds, you can come back in. I have the Vikings by 6.5 in this game. What do you have, House?
I like the Vikings by 7.5.
I said 7. Sports-ish guy Simmons gets it. 6.5 exactly.
Oh.
Nice.
This is a weird schedule glitch. Last time Tampa played on the road, week 3.
And we should mention the home teams got crushed yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
Which brings it, I think the home teams were 3-9, which brings us back to where we've been the last few years, where the home favorite just isn't that great of a bet. And
I think the favorites in general were like 6.
They were like 7 and 5.
Yeah, a 5 and 2 going into the afternoon game. It was a good day for teasers and suicide pools.
The home dogs went 0 and 3.
That's right.
I don't know how many home field advantages really matter. I think Seattle's matters.
Yeah, that still matters.
It just feels like it affects the game. I think Denver and the altitude might matter, and maybe we could come up with 3 or 4 more, a couple of the dome teams. But
yeah, Carolinas and Tampa Bays maybe don't matter.
Right, or Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like Matt Hasselbeck completed a 4th and 10 touchdown pass to win the game.
I thought, I would never see him throw a game-winning pass, even like in a backyard game. That's insane.
And then Fitzpatrick, those are the one thing we have learned, and I knew this, and I picked the Bills anyway like a moron, is you have 2 mediocre or below mediocre teams, and if the spread's more than 3, you just take the points.
Right.
It just doesn't matter.
True.
Don't even think about it.
I'm so angry with myself.
And I did it. I took the points with the Browns, who didn't cover by 1,
right.
And then I didn't take the points. I did it with the Jags. They covered.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 2 back, just take the points. Don't even think about it.
San Diego at Cleveland. What are you going to do? You're going to take the points here?
Well, is San Diego a bad team? I don't know. Coming off a bye, I had San Diego by 3, and I think I'm a half point off. What do you think?
Is it me?
Yeah.
I like San Diego by 3.5.
All right, I said 2.5. We're all hovering around the number. Sports guy again, 3 exactly.
2-0 today.
Look at you.
Yeah.
So,
listen, let me just make a request here. Anyone who's they're a big fan of a crappy team, don't send Simmons an email about how that team is going to win the division. Someone sent Simmons a 14-paragraph email about how the Browns are going to win that division, and they got us talking about it forever. Please, just hold on to those.
Is it fair to say that's the tipping point game of the North Turn era? Or did we already have the tipping point?
Oh, yeah, something like this really could send that.
I mean, you lose in Cleveland outdoors.
Yeah.
That ends their season. If they have like a humiliating Brandon Weeden game and Phil Rivers throws 4 picks.
Wait, why would it end their season?
I'm just saying, does he get fired after that?
Might end his, 3 and 4.
Yeah.
No, I can't imagine.
You don't think he gets fired if they lose in Cleveland?
I can't come up with a scenario where Norv Turner gets fired under any circumstances.
Well, he's tried every scenario.
That's what I mean. Yeah. What's left?
2 weeks to prepare for the Browns.
Wow.
Now they're getting investigated for the stickum on their gloves. Did you see this?
Yeah.
It's great.
I think maybe just Rivers that has the stickum on it. That's the one
stickum doesn't work.
Yeah.
If he's throwing the ball over your head, the stickum's not helping.
Not a good product endorsement.
Would you would turn down Rivers for Romo, right, Sal?
What, in real life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if the Chargers threw in a second-round pick?
No, I don't. I'm a huge Romo fan. I wouldn't do it. You're talking to the wrong guy here.
What if
Rivers is Romo is an unlikable Romo, isn't he?
What if San Diego said, we'll give you Rivers in our number 1 pick in 2013 for Romo?
And Shamu.
No, just that. Those two.
I don't know.
And the rights to Ron Burgundy's original Tux.
No. I'm going to say no to everything.
Really? You would turn down Rivers and a number 1 pick for Tony Romo?
This isn't realistic. Come on. It's not even disgusted.
All right. He hates
Seattle,
talking about Romo.
It's really funny. I love it.
Seattle at Detroit.
The funny thing about the cousin is because his son's middle name is Romo.
I know.
He's just totally can't even handle it.
His first name is Jack. If she just would have let me name him Jack Tripper instead of Jack Romo,
yeah, that is
never
true.
would have had this problem. I could be rooting for the Texans or something.
When he's on the Chiefs in a year, it's going to be so awkward. What was the next one?
Seattle at Detroit.
Oh.
This is your team.
You know, I had the Lions by 3, and I think it's a terrible line, but I just feel like Vegas is underrated in the Seahawks and overrated in Detroit. So I'm going to say Lions by 3.
I feel like it's Detroit by 1.
Okay.
Wow, we were all over the place there. I said Detroit by 4.5. I don't know what I figured, but it is a short week. And Simmons, you're right and you're wrong. It's minus 2.5, so they're underrating. They're overrating Seattle, I guess.
So it's the Lions by 2.5.
2.5.
I like the Seahawks. I think the Lions stink.
Of course you do.
We'll know the answer.
Tonight.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. Seattle's 4-3. Detroit is 2-3.
And we should mention that quickly. We were hanging out with Robert Mays, diehard Bears fan, last night, and he made the point. I feel the same way. Like, all right, Bears, if you're a real contender, you go out tonight and you beat the hell out of the Lions and you win by double digits and you sack Stafford 8 times.
Right.
And you hit Calvin Johnson over the middle 3 times, and you just do your thing.
Right.
Let's see it. Are you a contender or not?
I expect
It's not a must-win, but it's a different kind of a must-win.
They got to show the league. It's a show the league game.
Yeah. Are you a real contender or not? Do your thing.
This defense. That's what I expect to see tonight, honestly.
I think they win by double digits.
I think we see Sean Hill in there. If I could even get even odds on that.
Wow.
You probably can.
Yeah. Jacksonville at Green Bay. You're alive in a suicide pool. Here's a freebie. You haven't used it.
Are we? We're all back in on Rodgers, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
He was an unbelievable.
I was
last
never
week.
out on him.
I was a little bit out.
Nah.
But I just think he played a bunch of really tough defenses in a row.
Yeah, that's all.
And now he's got his mojo back.
Well, he's figured it out without Jennings too. Like they have. I mean, Cobb and James Jones are 2 as good receivers as anybody out there. I think right now.
You know, in the old days, I would have gone Packers by 13.
Oh.
But the Lions just haven't been that high this year, and I'm going to say Packers by 10.5.
House?
I like the Packers at 12.5.
Okay.
All right, I said the same thing. We win that one, House. 13 is the number. The old days.
Oh.
Back to the
old days are back.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points.
Jordy Nelson. Oh, they just kill. And what is this? I mean, who's going to play for Jacksonville? I bet Cecil Shorts is probably the best player on the team. Right?
Who's going to play quarterback?
Yeah. I mean, Henne was, I think, 2 of 15 on third down yesterday. And in today's NFL, where it's more about the Jims and Joes and the X's and O's, you have to. I forgot my own damn thing.
You got to say National Football League when you do that, though.
That's right, National Football League. Miami at the Jets.
Feels like these two teams play 4 times a year.
Yeah, I know.
And they might. I just think it is a straightforward Jets by 3.
I totally agree, 100%.
All right, you guys get this. I said 3.5. It's 2.5.
Oh, wow.
Those are scary. Detroit and Jets only giving 2.5 at home. You know, at least one of them is going to screw
I have
it
a
up.
semi-controversial opinion because I've watched the Jets pretty closely for 3 straight weeks, starting with that Houston game when they actually played really well in that Houston game.
Yeah.
The Jets are decent. They're well coached.
What's controversial about that?
The Jets know who they are. They know what they can do and they can't do. And I don't know. I don't think they're bad.
I think they're getting better. They're physical. I think Hill and Kershaw, like he's got receivers now that he sort of trusts. And
I didn't feel like the Pats played bad yesterday, which is what scared me.
No.
I didn't feel like it was like, man, we're blowing this
Put 'em
game, we're
away.
giving away. I was like, the Jets are playing well. They're dominating the ball.
let me ask you this: are they playing that well? We're going to Brooklyn. The Jimmy Kimmel Live's going to Brooklyn next week. So next weekend we get there.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, especially my friend Tony, who's a Dolphins fan, wants to go to this game.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
I don't want to go, right?
That's the worst idea I've ever heard.
I mean, I'd rather watch 9 games on a tiny TV
Don't
than
do that,
one
Sal.
from the 50-yard line.
That's like a 9-hour day to see 3 hours of football.
Yeah, it's bad.
You don't want to do that.
All right, I'm
Just
with
go
you.
to a sports bar.
No, but I'm even when you talk about like getting season tickets for whatever team moved here in 17 years, I'm like, I don't like missing all the early games.
There's only a couple teams in the league that actually make sense to have season tickets for if you lived in the city. Like, I think the Seahawks would be a fun team to have season tickets for because it's right downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you're putting in an hour-long drive and parking and all that stuff, then it's like your whole day. Then you don't see any other games.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
What do you think, House?
Yeah, well,
would you
there's
get
nothing
Redskins
else.
season tickets or no?
I would never, ever get Redskins season tickets. I considered it during the Gibbs era, but when there was a genuine waiting list that had, tens of thousands of people on it. But ever since Gibbs left, no way.
This is a stupid way to analyze it, but because if you're a big football fan who doesn't like missing a lot of games, there are far fewer games in the late afternoon. I think a West Coast season ticket holder has got it better.
Well, with the live streaming and stuff now, because I remember in the old days, you'd have the people at the tailgate and they have the TV with the rabbit ears trying to get like the CBS game. And now we're heading toward a place where you could tailgate and actually get all the games. And you could have a pretty cool setup. The problem is all these teams don't want you to tailgate. Like the Patriots, you're only allowed to get there 3 hours before, which has ruined the J-Bug and his friends. Yeah.
They should sell like a bank of TVs just for this because you end up having to screw up your whole living room for football. But if they sell just really like a portable 7-set DirecTV matchup.
Portable 7-set TV.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing, I don't know if this is true in the venues that you guys are going to, but out in Washington, when I tried and go to games, especially these baseball playoff games I went to, the service was horrendous.
Yeah.
Couldn't get anything.
It's expensive to do the Wi-Fi.
Not good.
We got sidetracked. Let's keep going.
All right, Carolina at Chicago.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
1-5 versus probably 5-1.
Ugh. So this is tough because as we talked 5 minutes ago, we don't know if the Bears are really, really good or just really good or good.
I don't think it matters.
Well, it matters how high this line goes. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say Bears by 10.5.
I'm gonna say Bears by 12.
You guys are killing me. I said 7. I said it doesn't matter, but it should matter. It is 10. So Simmons up 5-1 on me.
Yeah.
Right.
The House Coast offense has reinvigorated me.
House, you're bad luck for me. This could be it.
I'm sorry.
Atlanta at Philly.
Ooh. I think Atlanta's favored. I have Falcons by 2.5.
I'm gonna say Falcons by 1.
Wow. All right. I said Philly by 1. It's Philly by 2.
Whoa.
So I get.
Wow.
Oh, I don't agree with that.
That's interesting.
Well, here's what I'm.
That doesn't make sense.
Here's what I'm thinking. Teams. I mean, I know Atlanta had a bye and everything, but they lead the division by 4 games, 6 games in. My God, makes me think they could afford to tank one of these.
All right, so the case against Atlanta, you have that. You have outdoors, and you have not as good as the record because of their last 3 games.
Yeah.
But I don't like this Eagles team. The only way you could see it is one of those, almost like that Steelers-Eagles game, those ugly 19-17 type games where the other team starts screwing up because Andy Reid keeps screwing up, and you just they have a way of kind of bringing people into their stink.
Mm-hmm.
You don't agree, House?
I think the jury's still. I can't get a vibe out of this Philly team. I just can't. I can't figure them out. They zig and zag.
Yeah.
On a schedule that I can't track.
Of all the teams that have 2 and 1 point wins, you would never line Andy Reid up for that, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
How is this happening? All right, Indianapolis at Tennessee.
I can't believe you threw Tennessee into the wild card discussion.
Well, everyone who's 3-4, I just threw in there. I don't know. I mean, if you're 3-4, you're the 6th spot right now.
I'm hitting it exactly. Titans by 3.5.
Wow.
What do you have, House?
I'm going to say Titans by 3.
All right, we both had 3.5. It is, in fact, 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the extra half come from?
Because Colts outside, Titans a little bit explosive. Colts have had trouble scoring points.
It's weird that Colts outside is still a thing that people think about. Andrew Luck played his whole career outside.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Okay.
Do you think Andrew Luck is a better more mobile than RG3? I mean, 2 touchdowns yesterday. You're not going to see that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, listen, this whole team is Chris Johnson is half the player he was yesterday. They're in decent shape again, right?
The Bills. First of all, I totally forgot Dave Wannstedt was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This guy was a head coach for 2 teams. He was considered like the rising star coach.
Yeah.
And everywhere he's gone, he's been a complete disaster. Is there any place he's gone where he hasn't just been a total travesty?
At college, yeah, I know.
And like he went to college, everyone's like, "Wow, Dave Wannstedt's gonna be in college. This is like he's overqualified." He's like, "No, he's actually terrible at college." And then he's shepherding the single worst defense in the league, and a team that has a chance to have a historically bad defense.
He could get fired before the first head coach, right?
You had Wannstedt and Changeli as Cowboys coaches, right?
I know, and they went to Buffalo. How did this happen?
Poor Buffalo.
Wow.
Yeah,
they don't deserve it.
Come on.
All right, New England.
Leave
and
Buffalo alone.
Not actually at St. Louis, in London.
Oh wow!
Simmons, you should have stayed in London an extra 10 weeks.
I love London. Tomorrow I could be there.
You go back.
Oh wow! This totally changes my guess. I'm gonna say Pats by 7.5.
All right, House.
Wow. Let me think about this. I'll say Pats by 9.
All right, Simmons gets. I said 6. It's 7.
Huh.
And
I thought the Rams played really well yesterday, and Rodgers was just great. The Rams they did everything they needed to do, and they just they have to play perfectly to hang in a game like that. They had a couple big almost plays that didn't happen, and it's just too tough for them to beat a good team.
They're good, but in a weird way, I would think the Patriots would be more embarrassed to lose in London than they would at home like yesterday. I think they go out there and they crush.
That's why I said the big number.
Yeah.
Precisely that. I love the fact that the Patriots are going to be in England.
You do?
Yeah.
Why?
1776, baby.
What kind of odds do we put on Gronkowski nude photos with Prince Harry partying? It's got to be something, right?
Could be.
Rooting for it.
Is there tea party jokes? And there's lots
something.
of... this is great.
What uni can they wear?
Let me tell you something. I was there for 4 weeks, and it took me 10 days to recover physically and mentally when I came back.
Really?
And I think these London games are scary.
Yeah. Oh,
I just don't think your body's the same after.
They both have off next week, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, at least
That's
New
fair.
England's East Coast. I guess because I was West Coast, maybe it was an 8-hour time difference.
Yeah.
But man,
All right. Last early Sunday game, Washington at Pittsburgh. There you go, House. I hit this one exactly.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't... See, here's another... I hate to keep piling on the worst commissioner in sports, Roger Goodell. But this London game, wouldn't this be like a cool way for the league to kind of mess around here and make it like a 9 o'clock a.m. East Coast time start? So you're starting it in London. It's started at 2 o'clock in London, and it would start, and then you have an extra Sunday game.
But that means it's 6 o'clock in the morning West Coast.
Who cares? It would just be fun.
Okay.
No.
Wouldn't it be fun to have a third game?
Everyone would go crazy. They wouldn't be able to change their fantasy lineup.
It makes sense. I would like it as a Saturday game or a Thursday game. I like it as its own standalone,
How about a
unique
Sunday
thing.
10 a.m. game?
Well, what time is it? What time is it as it is now in London?
It's 5 hours ahead in East Coast. So
That's a 6.
1 o'clock would be 6 o'clock London time.
I like that on the West Coast. We're watching a night game and we just woke up. You know, like it's a night game there.
I think they should do that.
Well, one thing's for sure. It should be more publicized so that it's like so that I don't surprise you when I tell you this game's in London, right? Like they should do it should be a bigger deal than
I know. I'm a Patriot fan. It was so much surprised. Anyway, let's keep going.
Washington and Pitt.
I am destroying you this week.
I hit this one exactly, so.
Oh, well, I'm going to hit it too. Steelers by 3.5.
I think it's Steelers by 3.
Oh, you should have said 5, both of you.
Whoa, Vegas zone.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's weird.
Steelers by 5.
But you have to feel good. There's no defense that RG3 can't light it up against.
Right.
With his wheels. That's what's fun about this.
You know who I like in that game? Chocolate City.
Me too. I mean, I'm a little bit offended sitting here, honestly.
You should write a letter to Vegas.
Dear Vegas. I'm not going to write a letter. I'm going to write 10,000 green letters.
There you go.
Yeah, Daddy.
All right. Well, the late afternoon. There were 2 late afternoon.
So what's the
games.
best game then? Steelers Redskins?
Well, Atlanta Philly has potential.
That has the most possibility for the lead of Barnwell's column the next day.
Yeah.
For something really tragic happening from a coaching standpoint.
It's probably time though for the Matt Ryan game, the Matt Ryan on the road game.
Yeah,
the one
right.
way or the other Matt Ryan on the road game?
Yes,
like the
yes.
terrible Matt Ryan on the road game or the good Matt Ryan on the road game?
Terrible Matt Ryan on the road game.
Those are 2 good games.
This couldn't be the Julio Jones just annihilating Asamoah game?
It could be, but
I think there's a lot of blank games that could be in play with that game.
What about Vic against his old team? We haven't even.
Oh,
what?
Good one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. He must.
I stand by what I wrote on Friday. I think if he was an NBA player, he'd be in China in 15 months.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's on his way out of the league.
Why? Because they eat dogs in the Asian countries?
Oh, too soon.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what you were getting at. All right, let's move on. Oakland at KC. 2 late afternoon games because of baseball. I don't like this. I don't like watching
hate it,
9
too.
and then
So dumb.
2.
You know what was the worst thing yesterday? Just give us the one Jets game. Like, don't have to make me half-heartedly check in on Raiders-Jaguars, which was an atrocity of a game.
Yeah, that was bad too. And
So
the Raiders that game was exactly as long as it needed to be for the Raiders to win. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Backup quarterback, backup running back, and they still almost blew it.
It's embarrassing. So Raiders at Chiefs.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm Raiders by 2.5. I have them favored on the road.
Wow.
Yeah. You heard me.
I'll say Chiefs by 2.
All right, I said 2.5. House is the closest, and out of me and Simmons, I'm the closest. It's 1. Chiefs by 1.
I think the Raiders are favored.
Eventually, yeah.
Sal, do you know what's going on with the Chiefs right now?
What's going on?
This Save the Chiefs movement.
Oh, I saw that.
The Chiefs fans, the people
all
of Kansas City have kind of lost their minds.
Yeah.
And it started with the Robinson Cano All-Star thing and booing Castle, even though it was only a couple people did it, but still, it's like, I think the KC fans have just had it.
Well, yeah, that's
they
right.
want a good sports team, and they're just mad. That's it. They're mad.
I think they've earned it.
They've earned it. I'm 100% supporting the KC thing.
I'd like to see this in more cities like Cleveland.
But they have a Twitter account called Save Our Chiefs that now has like 110,000 followers.
Whoa.
What is supposed
This
to
is like
happen,
a real
though?
thing. This is like Occupy Kansas City.
I
fully
know, but
support
why
it.
on Twitter? Was Lady Gaga going to get something going? I don't get what's going to happen.
Chiefs fans, keep it up. Fight for your team. I like this.
All
I like
right.
where this is going. I like that a fan base just pushed over the edge. Like,
I'd love to see one time a whole stadium empty. Nobody goes in for a whole game. Go play. We're not giving you $1 for beer.
That would be
your hot dog money. Eat it.
Didn't the Yankee fans do that last week?
oh, another too soon.
Yeah. That's great.
All right.
All right. Well, now more somber tone. Giants at Cowboys.
Oh.
Cowboys already beat the Giants opening week.
Yeah, that's not in your favor.
Oh.
No.
You know, it's either Giants by 2.5 or Giants by 3, and I think they're going to swing a half point toward the Cowboys. I'm going to say Giants by 2.5. House?
I'm going to say Giants by 2.
All right. House, I said Giants by 2. Cowboys by 1. You're just not watching football if you take Cowboys by 1. You're just not doing it.
You know what?
Get it.
I'm not even saying anything. I fully support that line. Wink, wink.
Oh, stop.
Wink, wink. I think it should be higher. Cowboys by 3.
The Giants toy with, like, Eli doesn't it seem like he'll always be able to throw a Hail Mary from his back to Victor Cruz?
Well, the real problem is Coughlin has. We almost know of. Coughlin's like the poker player where you know every single trick he has.
Yeah.
He's going to spend the whole week talking about how that week 1 game, they were embarrassed.
Sure.
This team thinks they own you.
I
Nobody
just don't
thinks you
think
can beat this team.
You have a chance when the quarterback is not seeing 80% of his passes he throws, and they end up as 80-yard pass. I don't.
Man.
That's my way of complimenting Eli Manning. And
I'd find
it
it.
at the same time. I'm getting better.
I'd find it really hard to believe that the Cowboys would beat the Giants twice.
No.
Doesn't seem realistic.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
New Orleans at Denver.
This is it for the Saints.
The Saints get their 4th best coach back or something now, right? This could be a big move.
Joe Vitt?
Yeah.
You know,
the airport.
I'm looking at this now. I might have gone too high because I think I have less respect for the Saints as a team than anybody else.
You could clinch it with a win here.
But I'm going to go a little high. I'm going to say Broncos by 5.
I'm saying Denver by 3.
All right, I went 4. I was right in the middle of these two, and none of us went high enough. Denver by 6.
That's what I originally had. I got scared.
Wow.
It's too high, right?
I just eliminated the cousin.
Why
I think the
that
Saints
respect for
suck.
Denver?
The Saints suck.
Well, I don't
They
have
are
any
not
argument
good.
with that. That's true. And the grass, the altitude, all of it. 6.
Denver won their Sunday night game. I'm trying to figure, like Pittsburgh, I took Cincinnati yesterday, and I'm thinking, Pitt already lost the Sunday night game. I should have taken that into account. But New Orleans won a Sunday night game, and Denver,
Josh Freeman threw for 420 yards yesterday.
Yeah.
The Bucks, what was the final score? 35-21 or 35-28?
28. It was the first.
35-28, and they had first and goal from 1.5 where they didn't even score.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the game, they threw a touchdown where the guy was at. I mean, they really could have had 40 points. The Saints every week are giving up 35 to 40 points, or should.
Yeah.
I think Manning, could have 500 yards in this game.
Yeah, it's very neck and neck who has the worst defense, Buffalo or the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know why it still looks high to me, but
Plus, that's a Sunday night, right?
yeah, that's Sunday night. And then Monday night, San Fran at Arizona.
Poor Arizona. Remember when Arizona was like a 4-0 playoff contender?
Yeah. They're
And
still
then-
4-3. I still couldn't believe it. They're 4-3.
Well, I remember that heading into Week 5, we were talking about whether they could go 4-12.
Yeah.
I have the 49ers by 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
House.
I like them by 4.
All right. I said 5.5. Sports guy gets it again. It's 7. They give him a full 7 on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rooting against Harbaugh the rest of the way. I'm sorry.
You know,
Let me just say one more thing about this, and then I won't, because I've had a few days to think about it and the declining.
Oh, the 2 point. Yeah,
I
do
know.
your thing.
And if I had Seattle, I might be singing a different tune, but it's a lock no matter what. If you take the penalty or if you don't, but to say that he absolutely did the right thing. If you did both scenarios 500 times each, you never lose being up 9 with 40 seconds left. You will lose once or twice with Alex Smith fumbles the snap. And
how about being up 9 and the other team's punting to you?
Yeah, punting and
with no timeouts.
How hilarious would that look? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we missed. He deprived us of an onside punt.
Right. That's the other thing.
Right.
Travesty.
I didn't like it. I thought it was incredible though from a gambling standpoint, and I love any time there's like some random sports moment where you could just picture all the degenerates in the different Vegas casinos just absolutely losing their mind.
Apoplectic.
Yeah.
$75 million it swung. That's a lot.
And that's the legal money we know about.
Right. And I was 74.7 of it, I think. I don't know. That was bad.
Cousin, what do you have to plug?
Well, first of all, I have to plug your new song here. I mean, you were very upset about the links yesterday. And you left like a half message.
I did?
Yeah, the Lynx, that was our team. We parlayed them with the Texans a couple weeks ago, and it was probably the last bet we'll ever win. And but you left me a message and some weird stuff. Here, I'll play. Jessica, Simone, Rebecca with 2 Ks, Taj, Maya, Devereaux, Erin, Lindsay, Candace, Monica, Keisha Knight, Pulliam. You're all my special girls, and even though you might have come up short this year, I thought I'd put together a little ditty to show my gratitude and inspire you for next year.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Here it goes.
I don't remember doing this.
Bad girls, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad girls, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. Bad girls, I just can't do it. You disappointed me so much, Lynx. You underachieving hussies. Sports guy over and out. You got really upset with that.
Wow, yeah.
You
He
know,
was pretty mad. I was with him. He was pretty mad.
We after game 1, the Lynx lost game 1.
Yeah.
The best of 5 series. They were minus 550 to win the series, even though they're down 0-1 in the series. That's how heavily. Apparently, my one friend who follows the WNBA was saying
Is he still your friend?
Yeah. Well, he was saying this was the biggest last night's game was the biggest game in the history of the league.
Wow.
He said there's almost like he said the closest equivalent would have been the 04 Pistons beating the 04 Lakers.
Yeah, but you and I say it all the time. When Shavonte Zellos and Breon January catch fire, the Fever are unstoppable.
Well, he was saying Tamika Catching's one of the best 3 or 4 WNBA players.
That's good, yeah.
And this was like her, almost like Hakeem Olajuwon in the mid-90s.
We watched some. Look, Lindsay Whalen was not to be denied.
No, the quality of play is really good. The only big misnomer at WNBA is like those girls can play now.
Oh, they can play. What are you talking about?
I'm so glad it's done.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel Live this week. Prince, Axl Rose, First Lady Michelle Obama. What a threesome that would be.
Does Prince speak?
Prince is going to speak. He's going to sing. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do.
I don't think he speaks.
I hope you dance with him.
You have to watch.
And then you have the big Brooklyn week next week. All right, Cousin Sal.
Let me just tell you, Pettigrew and Kellen Davis tonight, 12-1 and 15-1 to score first. Grantland every Friday in my blog. You'll see it.
Yeah, and stay tuned for part 2. We're going to call Jack O.
All
to
right.
commiserate with the Yankees' demise. Cousin Sal, is always a pleasure.
Take care, fellas.
All right,
good time, cuz.
Hey.
Stay tuned for part 2 of the BS Report. Jack O. calling him right after this.
So I get to sign off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.